Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Diana and this is The Wise Chick. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome. If you're new, please consider subscribing. On this channel, we talk about personal finance, personal development, and topics revolving around money management. So if these are topics that interest you, please consider subscribing. So today's question of the day is, should you talk about money while dating? So like any venture in life, you would want to do your research. Whether you're trying to start a business or buy a new car, you would do your research. So if you were going into business, you would research the cost analysis of the business. You would research who your targeted audience was. And you would also have a business plan of where you see that business in the next 5 to 10 years. If you were buying a car, you would want to check the Carfax. You would want to check the mileage history. You would want to check if the car has ever been serviced. You want to check what condition the previous owner kept the car in. In the same manner, when it comes to a serious relationship, you would want to check their financial facts. Just like you would check a Carfax when you're buying a car, you would want to check the financial facts of the person that you were about to get into a relationship with. You would want to know whether or not you guys had the same financial goals or values. So why don't we bring up the topic about money in a relationship? The topic about money in a relationship has always been some sort of a taboo where people don't want to talk about it. And the reason why money is such a touchy subject is that money makes us feel emotional. It makes us feel vulnerable. And sometimes it can even make us feel like we're being judged by our significant other. It can be emotional for that person that has a lot of debt, that they might be feeling just very anxious about it. It can also make them feel vulnerable and feel like they're being judged because now they're revealing the most intimate parts about their finances and possibly poor decisions they had in the past. When you're dating someone, the question that's usually running through your head is, am I compatible with this person? Does this person make me feel good? Do I see a future with this person? Do we share the same values? And if you do see a future with this person, then you would need to start thinking about having a money conversation with that person. So the first time the money conversation comes up is usually during the first date, when you're trying to figure out who's paying for dinner and who's leaving the tip. So I remember the first date with my husband when we went to a lovely restaurant and the bill came. Like a perfect gentleman, he picked up the tab and I offered to pay the tip. And I would say that's probably the first time we had our money conversation. And this was such a profound moment because this was the first time we both agreed on how we would spend our money. And when you enter a serious relationship, at what point do you bring up the money conversation? So for every relationship, that time frame looks different. And that simply depends on how well you guys communicate with each other and are open with each other. So for some couples, it might actually be the first date while you're still trying to get to know each other is when you guys are asking each other that question. For others, it might take between 6 months to a year until you really feel comfortable to open up and have that discussion. The subject of money can really reveal a lot about a person's childhood, their values, and their spending habits. So I remember fresh out of college, I had my first job. And at that time, I was making just a little bit of money. And you know, fresh college student, fresh out of college, you're ordering everything on Amazon. And I remember my mom distinctly having a conversation with me and saying that I needed to be saving my money more than spending. And those were some of the values that I grew up with that kind of created habits that I have to this day. And ultimately allowed me to take my finances very serious. So there was a study done by TD Banks in 2016 called the Love and Money Survey. And in this survey, they interviewed a lot of Americans, couples specifically. And what they found was that the couples who talked about money weekly were significantly happier than the couples who talked about money occasionally. And I feel like talking about money with your partner, it represents transparency. It prevents room for financial infidelity. And what do I mean by financial infidelity? Financial infidelity would be them hiding a major purchase from you or even a significant debt from you. So how do you approach the money question? There's really no right or wrong way to approach it. The most important thing is that you just start having the conversation early on in your relationship. You just have to be mindful that you're respecting each other's thoughts and values. So what are some of the questions that you should be asking? Well, that ultimately depends on your values and your personal financial goals. You may want to ask, do you have credit card debt? Do you have student loans? How significant is your debt? Do you know your credit score? Now, these questions are valid if you've ever had plans of becoming a homeowner with this person. You would want to know their credit score, their debt to income ratio, and the amount of their student loans, because these are the factors that banks use to determine your credit worthiness, how much loan they would give you for a house, and ultimately the interest rate you would pay on that property. And you would also want to know if this person has any legal implications that could potentially affect you guys in the future if you plan to have a life together. Examples of some legal implications could be, do they owe child support? Do they owe taxes? Are they paying alimony? These are all important things that could ultimately affect your finances. Also, by realizing the debt potential of your partner, you guys can have a plan to work towards that debt. Other good questions to ask is, do you have a savings account? Are you planning for retirement? Do you like to take vacations? Do you like expensive vacations? And that depends on if you're the type of person that like expensive vacations. Maybe you like to stay at a 4-star or 5-star hotel. You would also want to know if your partner prefers an expensive vacation or would rather have a cost-effective vacation. And also you want to ask if the person sees themselves as a spender or a saver. And also, where do they see themselves in the next 5 to 10 years? Do they see themselves paying off debt? Do they see themselves being a homeowner? Do they see themselves having a business? So definitely you kind of want to just see where their financial goals are. So as far as you're asking the right questions, this can ultimately help you make the best decision. And just remember, guys, that finances is not a one-size-fits-all. Everybody's finances are different. The most important thing is that you guys are on the same page and you're working towards reaching a common goal. All right, guys. Well, I hope this video was insightful. Let me know what additional questions you would ask your significant other when it came to money. And if you haven't already subscribed, please consider subscribing on my channel. Hit that like and notification bell so that you will get notified once I post. Thank you guys, and I will certainly see you guys in my next video.